Well, state lawmakers at the Iowa House have now approved a bill which would increase funding for K-12 schools in Iowa.
It's a big investment, but as KWWL's Daniel Perot tells us, many educators say it is not enough. Daniel.
The House plan translates to about $150 million more dollars in K-12 funding. That's an increase of $229 to $7,864 per student. It's the same supplemental aid rate that state lawmakers set last year. Some Democrats and educators say that's too low and won't keep up with rising costs.
We're about to invest over $3.8 billion in our public schools. That's a pretty significant investment.
The 3% supplemental aid the House passed is more than the 2.5% Governor Reynolds proposed, but less than the 4% the Iowa State Education Association recommended.
While it's not great, it's okay.
For years, educators say state funding has not kept up with inflation and rising costs.
It just gradually eats into the funds that districts have, their ability to pay staff.
ISEA President Mike Baranek says schools could have to decide between raising property taxes or cutting staff and services.
There are school districts all across the state that are looking at both options.
Baranek says vital programs could be on the chopping block.
We are pulling back the professionals who can help the entire breadth of a school system and reducing those positions.
Dave Dotton with the School Administrators of Iowa and Rural School Advocates of Iowa says they can get behind it if lawmakers also raise pay for teachers and school support staff.
It's not part of that bill, but it is part of another bill that they say they're going to bring forth. And so assuming that happens, we can get by with a 3% SSA increase.
House Republicans say the increased funding, combined with the other education bills, will give school districts what they need.
I am proud of this investment in our public schools, especially when we put it in context with the other pieces of the education funding puzzle that we're bringing forward this year.
So far, the Senate has not put forward any numbers. It does sound like they're closer to the governor's 2.5%. Certainly, if that's the case, Republican leaders from both the chambers will have to get together and come to an agreement on a final percentage. Ron and Elizabeth.
All right, Daniel, thanks. And there is a House bill that would boost starting pay for teachers to $50,000 a year in 2 years and set a $15 per hour minimum wage for support staff.
On the other side of the aisle, the Senate has its own version in their AEA bill, and that sets the starting pay at teacher salaries for just over $46,000 a year. So a little off there. They'll have to compromise on that as well.